alone, struggling, and haunted by the memory of my late wife. I barely keep life together for my little daughter, Emily. But one rainy night changes everything. I rescue a stranger from danger, never knowing she's a powerful CEO. Fate isn't done, and our worlds collide in ways that will test courage, love, and the meaning of family. Do you believe in second chances and life-changing moments? If yes, like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. I'll never see her again, I muttered to myself, though the words fell hollow as I pulled away from the rain-soaked street. But let me start where my nights usually begin. Home. Daddy, read me one more page, Emily pleaded, tugging on the sleeve of my worn work shirt. Her big brown eyes had that sparkle I could never resist. I sighed, pretending to be annoyed. It's already past bedtime. You know the rules. One more, please. She folded her tiny hands in prayer, her little lips trembling in the dramatic way she always did when she wanted something. I chuckled, picked up the tattered fairy tale book, and flipped to the last page. All right, but tomorrow you're going to bed on time without a fight. She grinned, victorious. Deal. Her head nestled against my arm as I read the final lines. My voice softened, carrying her into dreams. By the time I closed the book, she was already asleep, her thumb resting near her mouth. For a moment, I just watched her. My little girl, my only reason for holding on. Everything else in my life had collapsed. Bills, 2 jobs, loneliness. But Emily, she gave me a reason to get up every morning. Your mom will be proud of you, I whispered, the words caught in my throat. I walked into the kitchen, flicked on a single dim bulb, and stared at the pile of unpaid bills. Electricity, rent, hospital debt. They stared back like enemies I had no strength left to fight. I pressed my palms to my eyes, remembering that night, the screech of tires, the scream, my wife's hand going limp in mine. I should have done more, I whispered, voice cracking. I should have saved you. A buzzing phone broke the memory. My second job, night shift at the warehouse. I grabbed my jacket, slipped out quietly, and whispered through Emily's door. Daddy loves you. I'll be back before you wake. The rain started halfway through my shift. By the time I got in my beat-up car, the storm was relentless. My windshield wipers squeaked in protest. The road shimmered with reflections of streetlights. And then I saw it. A sleek black car pulled to the side, hazard lights blinking weakly. A figure sat inside, head resting on one hand. Most people would have driven past. I thought about doing the same. But something in me couldn't. I slowed, pulled over, and stepped out. Rain soaked me instantly. I knocked on the window. The glass lowered just a crack, and sharp eyes glared out at me. A woman. Hair perfectly styled despite the weather, makeup flawless, a tailored suit hugging her shoulders. She looked like she belonged in magazines, not on a deserted road. "What do you want?" she snapped. Her voice was clipped, cold. "I saw your hazards. Thought you might need help," I said, raising my voice above the rain. "I called roadside assistance." "They're late," she muttered, irritation dripping from every word. I glanced at the tires. One was flat. "Easy fix. I can change it for you." She hesitated, sizing me up like I was a thief instead of a drenched man offering help. "I'll pay you. I didn't ask for money." She raised an eyebrow, clearly not used to that answer. "Then why bother?" I swallowed back my frustration. "Because you're stranded, and it's pouring. That's reason enough." I grabbed the spare from her trunk and got to work. The rain ran down my face, mixing with sweat as I tightened the bolts. My hands ached, my clothes stuck to me, but I kept moving. She stood nearby, tapping her heels impatiently. "You're slow." I bit back the retort on my tongue. "You're welcome," I said flatly when I finished. She pulled a sleek wallet from her bag and extended a bill. "For your trouble." I shook my head. "Keep it." She blinked, as if no one had ever turned her down before. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. Have a safe night." I walked back to my car without another word. The engine coughed before roaring to life. I could still see her in my rear-view mirror, standing there in the rain, money still in her hand, staring like she couldn't figure me out. As I drove off, the wipers squeaking, I muttered under my breath, "People like her don't live in the same world as me. She'll forget me by tomorrow morning." But deep down, something told me I was wrong. As I left her behind in the rain-soaked night, I told myself I'd never see her again. But fate rarely listens to me. When I got home, I tried not to wake Emily. But the moment I creaked the door open, I heard her small voice. "Daddy, why are you wet?" I glanced down at my dripping shirt and jeans. My boots squelched against the floor. I forced a smile. "Just rain, sweetheart. Go back to sleep." She sat up, rubbing her eyes. "You smell like car oil. Kids notice everything." I chuckled weakly and leaned against the doorway. Maybe the rain was dirty. "You work too much," she mumbled, curling back under her blanket. "Promise you'll rest tomorrow?" "I'll try," I whispered, but we both knew I was lying. The next morning, I walked her to school. The hall buzzed with chatter. Parents in polished coats, kids with shiny backpacks. My jacket was faded, Emily's bag patched at the corner. I pretended not to notice the stares. "Daddy, can I give Sarah my extra pencil?" Emily tugged my hand. "Of course. That's kind." While she ran off, I overheard two moms by the bulletin board. Their voices carried, sharp as knives. "Did you hear? Clara Davenport is coming today." The Clara Davenport. The CEO? She's sponsoring the new library wing. I froze. Clara Davenport. My mind replayed last night. The piercing eyes, the sharp voice, the money she waved at me. That woman. I muttered under my breath. The moms went on. "She's so intimidating. And single, too. Imagine being that powerful." I felt a strange twist in my chest. Powerful, yes, and worlds apart from me. By pickup time, the rumors had spread. Teachers whispering, parents fussing with their ties and hair, everyone trying to look impressive for the almighty CEO. I stood by the fence, trying to disappear. "Daddy." Emily's voice cut through the noise. She ran into my arms, holding up a crayon drawing. "Look, I made us." I bent down. Stick figures, me, her, and a son with a crooked smile. "It's perfect, Em." She leaned closer and whispered, "Who's that lady everyone's talking about?" "Just someone important," I said softly. "Not from our world." She tilted her head. "But you always say people are just people." Her words stung. She was right. Still, I couldn't shake the image of Clara's cold eyes in the rain. Later that evening, while driving to my second shift, I pulled up at a red light. Another black car slid to a stop beside me. Sleek, tinted, expensive. For a second, I thought it was her again. My heart pounded until the light changed and it sped away. "Get a grip?" I muttered, gripping the wheel tighter. "You'll never see her again." But somewhere else in the city, she was thinking about me. I didn't know it then, but that same evening, as I unloaded crates at the warehouse, Clara sat in the back seat of her chauffeured car. I only pieced it together later. From whispers, from a driver I overheard weeks afterward. "Strangest man I've met," she'd muttered, her voice low but cutting. "Didn't take the money." Her driver chuckled. "Maybe he just wanted to help." "No one helps for nothing," she snapped. "Not in this city." A pause. Then softer, almost to herself, "Why didn't he take it?" The driver didn't answer, but she kept asking. That night, after another grueling shift, I collapsed at home. Emily stirred in her sleep as I tucked her blanket higher. I brushed a strand of hair from her forehead. "Daddy?" she whispered groggily. "Yes, love." "Why do you look sad?" I forced a smile. "I'm not sad, just tired." She reached out her tiny hand and placed it on my cheek. "Don't be tired forever." I bit down hard on my lip, fighting tears. "I'll try, Em. I promise." She drifted back to sleep, and I sat there in the dark, wondering why a woman like Clara Davenport was circling my thoughts when survival should have been my only focus. I convinced myself again, our worlds are too far apart. She'll forget me by morning, and I'll forget her too. But just when I thought our paths would never cross again, fate set fire to that lie. I kept telling myself her world and mine would never meet again. But fate doesn't ask for permission. It just throws you into the fire. Literally. The night was darker than usual, clouds pressing low, headlights cutting through sheets of rain. I was dead tired, my hands aching from another overtime shift. Just wanted to get home to Emily. Then I saw it, orange against the black. Smoke, flames licking up from the ditch ahead. My chest tightened. Not again. Please, God, not again. I pulled over before I even thought. The acrid smell of burning metal rushed into my lungs as I stumbled closer. Hey! Anybody inside? I shouted, my voice lost in the roar of fire and rain. A faint groan answered me. My blood froze. Someone was in there. I yanked at the door handle. It wouldn't budge. Heat seared my palms. Damn it. I kicked, pulled again, screaming at the metal. Finally, with one last heave, it gave way. Inside, a woman slumped over the wheel, unconscious. Her hair stuck to her face, smoke curling around her. I coughed, reached in, and hauled her out with everything I had. My arms burned, lungs screaming, but I dragged her to the wet grass. Stay with me, come on, don't quit on me. I shouted, patting her cheeks, rain pouring down. Her eyelids fluttered, and that's when I saw her face. Clara, the CO, the same woman I'd left in the rain days ago. My heart hammered so hard I thought it might break my ribs. No, not you, not like this. Memories ripped open, the twisted wreckage, my wife's limp body, the way her fingers slipped from mine that night. My knees nearly buckled. I couldn't lose another. Not again. Breathe. Come on, Clara, breathe. I pressed my ear to her lips. A faint gasp. Relief punched me in the gut. But her grip, weak fingers curled around my wrist. Don't let go, she whispered, barely audible. I won't. I rasped, choking on smoke and tears. I promise I won't. The car behind us groaned. A second later, boom! Flames shot into the sky. Shards of glass rained down. I shielded her body with mine, heart racing out of control. Help! Somebody help! I screamed into the night, my voice raw. Finally, sirens. Red and blue lights broke through the storm. Paramedics rushed forward, shoving me aside gently as they worked. Male, late 30s, responsive. Female, unconscious but breathing shallow. One of them called out. She was in the car. I croaked. My throat burned. I couldn't finish. My chest heaved, my hands shaking uncontrollably. You did good, sir. Step back, another medic told me. But I couldn't. Not yet. Her hand still clung to mine. Even unconscious, she wouldn't let go. Sir, we need to move her. I pried my fingers free slowly, feeling the ghost of her grip burning into my skin. As they lifted her onto a stretcher, her head lolled toward me, her lips pale. I whispered under my breath, You're not allowed to leave me with another grave, Clara. Not tonight. They loaded her into the ambulance, and one medic turned to me. You coming with us? You're covered in smoke. Need to check your lungs. I wanted to say no, to walk away, to go home, hug Emily, and forget this night ever happened. But my feet wouldn't move. My eyes stayed locked on her motionless form inside the flashing lights. I'm coming, I heard myself say. As I climbed in beside her, a sharp ache filled my chest. My wife's face blurred with Clara's in my mind. Both broken, both slipping away. Only this time, I wasn't too late. Inside the ambulance, the world felt small. Oxygen masks, the beep of monitors, the smell of antiseptic mixing with smoke. I sat on the bench, fists clenched, watching her chest rise and fall. Too shallow, too fragile. Stay alive, I whispered again. Stay alive, because I don't think I can carry another ghost. For a second, I swore her lips twitched, like she heard me. The paramedic beside me glanced up. You know her? I swallowed hard. My voice cracked. No, and yes. I pulled her out of a car once before. Thought I'd never see her again. The medic raised a brow, but said nothing. The sirens wailed louder, the city lights drawing closer. I leaned back against the cold wall of the ambulance, rain still dripping from my hair, my whole body trembling. Emily's face flashed in my mind, her little hands folded in prayer like she always did when I worked nights. Maybe she was praying right now. "Daddy, please come home safe." I could almost hear her voice. I clenched my jaw. I will, baby girl. I will. But tonight, maybe I wasn't meant to come home alone. When the hospital came into view, I knew it. I couldn't just walk away this time. Clara wasn't just some stranger anymore. Our lives had collided, burned together in the fire, and whether I liked it or not, fate wasn't done with us. I couldn't just walk away this time. The ambulance doors closed, and fate shoved me into a place I swore I'd never return. The walls of the hospital. Hours slipped by under the harsh white lights of the waiting room. The smell of disinfectant clung to my clothes. Every tick of the clock made me think of Emily. She'd be asleep by now, hugging that worn-out teddy bear. I should be there. She needs me, but so does Clara. My phone buzzed. Emily's name lit up the screen. I answered quickly, forcing my voice steady. "Daddy, why aren't you home yet?" I closed my eyes. Her little voice always hit me right in the chest. "I got stuck at work. Sweetheart, go back to sleep, okay?" "It's raining. Did you bring your umbrella?" she asked. I smiled faintly. Even half asleep, she worried about me. "I'm fine, Em. I'll be home soon." "Promise?" "I promise." My throat tightened. God help me keep it. Before I could say more, a doctor called my name. "You can see her now." I slipped the phone back into my pocket. "Sleep tight, baby girl," I whispered to myself, then followed the doctor down a quiet hall. The room was dim, machines humming softly. Clara lay in the bed, pale but alive. Her eyes fluttered open as I stepped in. For a second, she looked disoriented. Then her gaze sharpened. "You again?" Her voice was hoarse, but there was disbelief in it. I shifted awkwardly. "Yeah, seems like fate keeps throwing us at each other." Her brow furrowed. "Why? Why were you even there?" "I was driving home. Saw the fire. Didn't think. Just acted." Her lips parted like she wanted to argue, but no words came. Finally, she whispered, "You saved me." I shrugged, though inside my chest was pounding. Anyone would have done the same. "No," she said sharply, though her voice cracked. "Not anyone. People don't just run into fire." For a moment, silence filled the room. My palms sweated. I didn't know what to do with the way she was looking at me, like I was someone she couldn't quite figure out. Then, almost reluctantly, she muttered, "Thank you." The words hit harder than I expected. I should have felt satisfied, maybe even smug, but instead I felt exposed. "Don't thank me, just get better." She let out a weak laugh, though it sounded more like a sigh. "You're a strange man. The first time, you didn't ask for money. Now this," her eyes lingered on me. "Why?" I looked down at my shoes, my throat tightening. Because I couldn't save the woman I loved. Because I'll never forgive myself if I let another die when I could have stopped it. But I couldn't tell her that. Not yet. Because someone had to. I said simply. Her gaze softened, just a flicker, but I caught it. The armor she wore so tightly was cracking, even if only for a second. Before either of us could speak again, my phone buzzed. Emily again. I glanced at the screen. "You should answer," Clara murmured. I nodded and stepped back, pressing the phone to my ear. "Hey, sweetheart. Daddy, when are you coming home?" Her voice was small, tired. "Soon," I whispered. "I'll be home before you wake up." She yawned and said, "Okay. I love you. I love you too, Em. Sweet dreams." When I hung up, Clara was watching me with an expression I couldn't read. Almost curious. "That was your daughter?" she asked. "Yeah, she's my whole world." For a long moment, Clara didn't say anything. Then quietly, she said, "You're a better man than most." I swallowed hard, unsure how to respond. Finally, she straightened slightly, her eyes sharpening again. "I'm not letting this go. You saved my life Twice. I'll find a way to repay you. I shook my head quickly. That's not necessary. Her lips curved in something between a smirk and a smile. It's not up to you. I wanted to argue, but the determination in her eyes stopped me. I sighed, rubbing the back of my neck. She's not going to let this go. And whether I like it or not, she's stepping closer to my world. It's not up to you, Clara had said. I should have known she meant it. The next evening, just as Emily and I were finishing dinner, instant noodles again. There was a knock at the door. My stomach sank. Nobody visited us. Daddy, who is it? Emily asked, swinging her legs under the table. I wiped my hands on a rag and opened the door. My chest tightened. Clara stood there, crisp coat, perfect posture, a car idling behind her. She looked painfully out of place against the peeling paint of my doorway. You shouldn't be here, I muttered. I told you, I repay my debts, she said, stepping inside before I could argue. Her sharp eyes swept the room, lingering on the worn sofa, the patched wallpaper. I felt my face heat with shame. Emily peeked out, wide-eyed. Daddy, who's the lady? This is Clara, I said reluctantly. Emily's whole face lit up. Hi, Clara. Do you want some tea? She ran to the kitchen and returned with her favorite chipped cup. It's all we have left, but it's special. Clara blinked, visibly unsettled. Tea? Emily nodded, bouncing. Daddy says sharing makes people feel better. I groaned quietly. Emily. But Clara surprised me. She took the cup carefully, lowering herself onto the sofa, like it was a throne she didn't belong on. Thank you, she said softly. Emily grinned. You're welcome. She plopped beside her, swinging her legs. I crossed my arms, leaning against the wall. You didn't have to come here. I don't want anything from you. Clara sipped from the cup, wincing at the bitterness but not complaining. That's clear, but gratitude isn't always about money. I stiffened. Then what is it about? You coming here to prove you're generous? To feel better about yourself? Her gaze snapped to me, cold again. You think everything I do is about power? Isn't it? I shot back. People like you don't just knock on doors like mine. Silence stretched. Emily looked between us, frowning. Don't fight, she said softly. Mommy used to say people fight when they're scared. My breath caught. Clara's eyes flickered. For once, she didn't have a sharp reply. She turned to Emily instead. Your mom isn't here? Emily shook her head. She's in heaven. Daddy says she's watching us. I want to cut her off, to protect her from Clara's questions, but something in Clara's expression stopped me. For the first time, she looked human. Not a CEO, not untouchable, just a woman. I'm sorry, she said quietly. Emily leaned against her arm, as if she belonged there. It's okay. Daddy takes care of me. He makes the best pancakes. I swallowed hard, pride and shame tangling inside me. Why did she have to see this? Why here, in the one place I never wanted anyone to judge us? Clara glanced around again, softer this time. You do a lot with very little. The words stung and comforted all at once. We get by. She nodded, as if she understood more than she wanted to admit. For a moment, the room felt smaller, warmer. Emily yawned, crawling into my lap. Can Clara come for pancakes sometime? I froze. Clara's lips twitched, almost a smile. Maybe if your dad allows it. Emily's eyes sparkled. Promise? Clara hesitated, then nodded. Promise. I looked away, my chest tight. Why is she even here? And why do I feel like the walls I built are already cracking? When Clara finally stood to leave, she set the chip cup gently on the table. Thank you both. I muttered, you didn't have to. I know, she replied, meeting my eyes. That's why I did. Her driver opened the door, and just like that, she was gone, leaving the faint smell of her perfume lingering in the air, unsettling everything I thought I had under control. Emily mumbled sleepily. Daddy, I think she's lonely. I kissed her hair, my throat aching. Maybe she is. That night, long after Emily fell asleep, Clara's visit replayed in my mind. Her awkwardness, her thank you, her eyes when Emily mentioned her mom. The memories of my wife pushed through the cracks I'd buried them under, sharp and painful. And I knew Clara wasn't just stirring up my pride. She was stirring up my grief. Emily's sleepy words clung to me long after she drifted off. Daddy, I think she's lonely. But it wasn't Clara's loneliness keeping me awake. It was my own. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the soft rain outside. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the chip cup Clara had used. My chest ached, my thoughts dragging me back to the night I'd buried under silence for years. The crash, the twisted steel, my wife's trembling hand in mine, slipping away despite everything I begged, every promise I made. I'm here. I'm not letting go. I had whispered that night, and then her grip weakened, the life drained from her eyes, and I couldn't stop it. I pressed my palms to my face, swallowing the sobs I hadn't let myself release in years. God, why couldn't I save her? Why her and not me? The sharp buzz of my phone cut through the darkness. I wiped my face and glanced at the screen. Clara. I hesitated, then answered. Hello. Her voice was quieter than I'd ever heard it. I shouldn't be calling this late. You already did, I said softly. What's wrong? A pause. Then, I can't sleep. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Nightmares. Memories, she admitted. When you pulled me out, you looked like someone who knew what it was like. My throat tightened. Yeah, I know. She hesitated, then whispered, I lost my parents when I was 16. One day they were there, the next gone. I thought I'd buried it. But tonight it came back. The fire, the fear, it all came back. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone. I lost my wife in a crash. Emily was just a baby. I held her hand, and it wasn't enough. There was silence, just our breaths in the dark. I'm sorry, Clara said, her voice trembling. I'm sorry, too, I whispered. No one deserves to know that kind of loss. For once, she didn't argue, didn't put up walls. Just silence that felt more honest than words. Finally, she murmured, You carry it like armor, but I can see it's heavy. I let out a broken laugh. Armor doesn't stop you from bleeding on the inside. Her voice softened, fragile. Maybe that's why you saved me, because you couldn't save her. Her words cut deep, but they were true. I pressed my fist against my chest. Maybe I just couldn't let another ghost haunt me. Neither of us spoke for a while. I thought she might hang up, but then she whispered, Thank you for telling me. No one ever hears this side of me. Not even my board, not even anyone. You don't have to carry alone, I said before I could stop myself. Her breath caught, almost like a sob. Then, Neither do you. The line went quiet again. I didn't realize Emily had padded out of her room until I felt her tiny hand tugging my shirt. I looked down, startled. Her eyes were big and sleepy. Daddy, are you crying? I swiped quickly at my face. No, sweetheart. Just tired. She tilted her head, unconvinced. Mommy used to say it's okay to cry. She said tears are how hearts get clean. The words broke me. My chest heaved, and before I could stop it, a tear slipped free. I pulled her close, burying my face in her hair. You're right, Em. I whispered. Sometimes tears help us heal. On the other end of the line, Clara's voice was so soft, I almost thought I imagined it. She's wise for her age. She's all I've got, I said, pressing a kiss to Emily's head. Emily yawned. You've got me, and I've got you. Clara exhaled shakily. Good night, she whispered, almost like a prayer, and the line clicked off. I stayed there, holding Emily, my tears dampening her hair, my chest lighter than it had been in years. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't carrying the pain alone. But even as the ache eased, I knew the world outside wouldn't stay quiet forever. Grief and healing were one thing. Scandal and chaos were another. And something told me both were coming. I barely slept after that late-night call with Clara. My chest still felt raw, as if every word had ripped open wounds I'd hidden for years. I thought maybe, just maybe, we had turned a corner, but by morning, the world had already turned it into something else entirely. reporters, cameras, headlines. The first thing I saw on my cracked phone screen was a photo of Clara stepping out of my doorway, Emily's little smile frozen in the corner of the shot. The headline read, "Powerful CEO spotted in rundown home of single father. Secret scandal?" I gripped the phone so tight I thought it might snap. "Daddy, why are people outside?" Emily's voice broke through. She peeked through the curtains, her small face paling at the flashes of cameras. I pulled her back gently. "Stay away from the window. Sweetheart, they're just curious." Her brow furrowed. "Curious about us? But we're boring." I almost laughed, but the ache in my chest wouldn't let me. "You're anything but boring, Em. They just don't know the truth." Before I could calm her further, a knock rattled the door. Sharp, impatient. I opened it to find Clara standing there, sunglasses on, jaw set. Behind her, a dozen reporters shouted questions. "Can we talk?" "Now," she hissed, pushing past me into the living room. Emily tugged at my sleeve, whispering, "Daddy, is she mad at you?" I knelt beside her. "She's not mad at us, okay? Go to your room for a bit." Emily nodded reluctantly, shooting Clara a cautious glance before disappearing down the hall. The second Emily's door clicked shut, Clara whipped off her sunglasses. Her eyes burned. "Do you have any idea what this is doing to me? To my company? They're calling me reckless, unprofessional. Some are implying worse." I folded my arms, heat rising in my chest. "And you think this is easy for me? For Emily? She's just a kid, Clara." She was scared out there. Her lips parted, but before she could snap back, a faint cry echoed from the hallway. "Daddy." Emily's voice shook. I rushed out to find her curled up by her bedroom door, trembling. The reporters outside had started shouting her name, somehow finding out who she was. "Emily, it's okay." I scooped her into my arms, rocking her gently. "I've got you. Nobody's going to hurt you." Clara appeared in the hall, frozen. Her expression softened the instant she saw Emily bury her face on my shoulder. Slowly, almost uncertainly, Clara knelt beside us. "Emily," she said, her voice lower, gentler than I'd ever heard it. "I promise. I won't let them hurt you either." Emily peeked at her with wide, wet eyes. "You promise?" Clara swallowed hard. Nodding, crossed my heart. The words hung there, heavy and strange, as if even Clara surprised herself. I carried Emily back to her room, setting her on the bed. Clara sat on the edge beside us, smoothing the blanket awkwardly. "You know," Emily whispered, "don't sound scary when you talk like that." Clara gave the faintest laugh, a crack in her perfect armor. "I guess I'm not as scary as people think." Emily yawned, her tiny hands clutching my shirt. "Then you can stay until they go away." Within minutes, she drifted off, her breath steady and soft. I sat there, staring at her peaceful face, the storm of cameras still flashing outside. Clara stayed too, unusually quiet. Finally, she murmured, "She trusts you completely." I glanced at her. "She's all I've got. Every choice I make is about keeping her safe." Something flickered in her eyes. Envy, maybe. Loneliness. "I never had that," she whispered. "Not really. I had money, control, but no one who looked at me like that, like I was their whole world." Her words cut deeper than I expected. I rubbed my temples, torn between anger and understanding. "Clara, why are you here? Really? Is it about damage control or something else?" She looked at me, her voice trembling. "I don't know anymore. At first, yes, I came because of the headlines. But when I saw her afraid," she paused, eyes glistening. "It wasn't about me anymore." I exhaled slowly. "You care about her." "I do," she admitted, almost offensively. "And I don't care how messy or inconvenient that is." The room went silent, save for Emily's steady breathing. I couldn't tell if I wanted to push Clara away or let her stay. My pride screamed one thing, but my heart whispered another. Finally, I broke the silence. "Clara, I can't let Emily get dragged through this. She deserves peace." Her jaw tightened, but her voice softened. "Then let me help protect her. Protect both of you, even if it costs me." Her words startled me. This was the same woman who once mocked me, who lived in boardrooms and skyscrapers, now sitting on a sagging mattress in my rundown house, whispering promises to a child that wasn't hers. For the first time, I saw her not as the CEO or the woman who dismissed me, but as someone desperately fighting ghosts of her own. I leaned back against the wall, exhausted. Clara, if you're serious, then this isn't just about me anymore. You'll have to choose. Your world or ours. She met my gaze, unflinching. Then maybe it's time I do. Her words haunted me long after she left that night. Then maybe it's time I do. I couldn't shake them, no matter how much I wanted to. 2 days later, I found out what she meant. Daddy, look, Miss Clara's on TV. Emily shouted, pointing at the tiny screen of our second-hand television. I turned and froze. There was Clara, standing in front of microphones, board members flanking her like vultures. One reporter asked sharply, "Are you confirming a relationship with the single father the media has been speculating about?" Clara's chin lifted. "I'm confirming that no board, no company, no stranger gets to dictate who I see or where I go. My personal life is mine, and I will not apologize for caring about a man and his daughter." I nearly dropped the mug in my hand. "Daddy, she's brave," Emily whispered, eyes wide. I couldn't answer. My chest was tight, my heart slamming against old walls I'd built to keep anyone out. Later that evening, there was a knock. I didn't need to ask who it was. Clara stood there, not in her sharp suits, but in jeans and a simple sweater, like she shed an armor she no longer wanted. I meant what I said, she told me as soon as I opened the door. I won't hide, and I won't let them scare me away. I swallowed hard. Why, Clara? Why risk everything? She hesitated, then stepped inside. Because when I'm here, with you, with Emily, I feel alive. Do you know how long it's been since I felt anything real? Her words cracked something in me. I wanted to believe them, but the weight of my past pressed against me. Clara, I can't let Emily get hurt. I can't let myself get hurt again. She didn't argue. Instead, she showed me. The next morning, when reporters swarmed near Emily's school gates, Clara was already there. I watched from across the street as she stepped in front of Emily, shielding her with her own body. "Back off," she snapped at the cameras, her arm protectively around my daughter. Emily came running to me after, breathless. "Daddy," she held my hand the whole way in. She said nobody could touch me. Her excitement was contagious. But I kept my guard up. Actions meant more than words. But still, my heart stirred in a way I hadn't felt in years. That evening, Clara came by again. Emily greeted her with a hug that nearly knocked the wind out of her. "Did you see Daddy? She's like a superhero." Clara laughed softly, glancing at me. "Not quite, but she's worth fighting for." I watched them together. Emily chattering about her day, Clara listening as if every word mattered. For the first time since my wife's death, the house felt full. Yet inside, a battle raged. Can I let this happen? Can I risk it? When Emily finally ran off to her room, I faced Clara. "You don't know what you're asking me to do. Letting someone in, it's not easy. I've been carrying too much for too long." Her voice softened. "Then let me carry some of it with you." I didn't answer right away. My silence stretched, but she didn't flinch. She simply stayed, waiting, and in her eyes, for once, I saw no power, no pride, just sincerity. Maybe, just maybe, love wasn't gone forever. Maybe it was standing in my living room, patient enough to wait for me to believe again. Maybe, just maybe, love wasn't gone forever. Maybe it was standing in my living room, patient enough to wait for me to believe again. And yet, as the calendar flipped, one date stared back at me like a wound that never healed, the anniversary. The day I lost her. I woke early, long before the sun. Emily stirred, rubbing her eyes. "Daddy," she whispered, "is it today?" I nodded. My throat tightened. "Yeah, sweetheart, it's today." She didn't ask more. She knew. She always knew. When I turned to grab my jacket, Clara stood at the door. "I'll come with you," she said softly. I hesitated. "Clara, this isn't—" "I know it's not my place," she interrupted. "But maybe maybe no one should face this alone. Her eyes didn't demand. They offered, and I couldn't say no. The cemetery was quiet, dew still clinging to the grass. My steps slowed as we approached the stone, my heart hammering like it wanted to run away. Emily slipped her small hand into mine. "Hi, Mommy," she said gently, crouching by the flowers we brought. "I picked the pink ones. Daddy said you liked those." My chest ached so badly I thought I might collapse. I knelt, fingers tracing the carved letters of her name. The cold stone grounded me, pulling me into memories I'd fought to bury. Her laughter, her warmth, the way she called me stubborn when I wouldn't let her drive that night, the screech of metal, the smell of smoke, her blood on my hands. "Daddy," Emily's voice pulled me back. I swallowed hard. "I'm here, baby." The guilt rose, the same torment that had haunted me for years. I should have done more. I should have saved her. My voice cracked. "I failed you," I whispered to the stone. "I should have been enough to keep you here. I wasn't. I'm so sorry." Silence. Only the wind answered. Then Clara's hand rested lightly on my shoulder. "You didn't fail her," she murmured. "You loved her. You still do. That's not failure." I shook my head, tears burning. I was supposed to protect her. I couldn't. What does that make me? "It makes you human," she said simply. "And it makes you a father who's still here. For Emily. That matters." Emily leaned against me, her little arms wrapping around my side. "Daddy," she whispered, "Mom will be happy. She'd be glad you're taking care of me. And that you're not sad forever." The words broke something inside me. Tears streamed down my face, unstoppable. My body shook as I pulled Emily close, clinging to her warmth. "Oh, baby," I've been so scared of letting go. I thought if I did, I'd lose her completely. Emily's voice was small but certain. "You don't lose her. She's here. She's in me. And she's in you." I looked at her, then at Clara, who knelt beside us in silence. She didn't push, didn't preach. She just placed her hand over mine, steady and warm, as if to say, "You're not alone anymore." For the first time in years, I believed it. I pressed my forehead against the stone. "I miss you. I'll always miss you. But I can't stay in the dark forever. Emily deserves better. You want me to keep living, to keep loving." The wind rustled through the trees like an answer, soft and gentle. I kissed my palm and placed it on the stone. "Goodbye," I whispered, not to erase her, not to forget her, but to free myself from the chains of guilt I'd carried too long. Emily's voice was barely audible. "See, Daddy? She's smiling now." And I believed her. We walked back in silence, but it wasn't heavy anymore. Clara's hand never left mine, and Emily skipped ahead, her pink flowers swaying in the breeze. The pain was still there, but it wasn't crushing me anymore. It was a part of me, yes, but so was hope. So was the possibility of tomorrow. For the first time, I let the past rest, and with it laid to peace, I felt something I hadn't in years. The chance to begin again. With the past finally behind me, I could look forward. For Emily, for myself, and maybe for the family we were slowly becoming. Months slipped by quietly, almost like life was apologizing for how cruel it had been before. The house didn't feel so empty anymore. Laughter echoed in rooms that had once only heard silence. Emily's drawings covered the fridge, colorful scribbles of 3 people, me, her, and Clara. Sometimes I caught myself staring at them longer than I should, marveling at how natural it looked. One evening, I was stirring a pot of soup when Emily bounded into the kitchen. "Daddy, Miss Clara's here." I turned, wiping my hands on a towel, and there she was, Clara, not in heels or designer suits, but in a sweater and jeans, holding a paper bag of groceries. "You brought food?" I teased. "That's dangerous. You'll spoil us." She smirked. "Don't flatter yourself. Emily told me you were about to burn dinner." Emily giggled. "She's right, Daddy. You always burn the bread." Traitor. I muttered, but the warmth of my chest drowned out any sting. We sat together at the table, the 3 of us. Emily chattered about school, waving her hands dramatically as she explained how she'd been picked to lead her class project. Clara listened, actually listened, leaning in like every detail mattered. I watched them, and for a moment, I felt something I hadn't in years. Peace. Later that night, after Emily had gone to bed, I stepped onto the porch. Clara joined me, her shoulder brushing mine. "You've changed," she said quietly. I raised an eyebrow. "For better or worse?" She smiled. "Better. You're lighter. You're not carrying everything alone anymore." Her words sank deep. She was right. The guilt that once crushed me didn't own me anymore. I still miss my wife, but now it was with love, not torment. I never thought I'd get a second chance. I admitted, "Not at this. Not at us." Clara slipped her hand into mine. Neither did I. But sometimes life surprises us. We stood there in silence, the night calm, the stars faint above us. For the first time, the future didn't terrify me. It called to me. The next morning, I was tying Emily's shoelaces when she suddenly asked, "Daddy, is Miss Clara going to stay with us forever?" I looked up, caught off guard. Clara stood in the doorway, coffee mug in hand, watching us. Her eyes softened, waiting for my answer. I cupped Emily's cheek. "I hope so, sweetheart." Emily grinned and threw her arms around both of us. "Good, because I like us all together." Her innocence had a way of cutting straight through to the truth. And in that moment, I realized, so did I. That evening, after Emily went to bed, Clara curled up on the couch beside me. She leaned her head on my shoulder, her voice teasing but tender. "You again?" she murmured, the same words she'd once spat out in annoyance the night I found her in the rain. But now they were different, soft, full of affection. I laughed quietly, pulling her closer. "Yeah, me again." For the first time, I wasn't afraid of tomorrow, because tomorrow meant waking up to laughter, to love, to second chances. And this time, I wasn't going to let it slip away.